I guess years ago they had to go on camping.
Did they?
Yeah, that was way before my time.
That's what Elaine brought. Yeah, you're
Probably. I think it was actually before.
You could do before.
Yeah.
Remember how long she's been retired? So she here to go? Yeah, she's laying over there in the wall and the kind of, I don't know what you call that purple in the last row over there. Go ahead. Right in the middle. That's the last row. Yeah, that's right. And next to her. That's probably 1,000.
Oh yeah, I see. Kind of a pink.
Yeah, kind of a purple or whatever that is.
I can't see.
Chartreuse. As soon as you wave to them, it turns to acknowledge you.
Yeah. What are you doing?
I think it's 1 o'clock. I know you all have been patiently waiting for us. I'd like to call the annual business meeting to order. And good afternoon, welcome, thanks for coming. I'm Mary Hill, I'm president of Three Rivers Telephone. And I'd like to welcome all of you to our 63rd membership meeting. At this time, I'd like you to please stand for the national anthem, which is sung by Fairfield High School student Mackenzie Rosenbaum, and then please remain standing for our invocation.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Harry Barnes will now give us our invocation.
Thank you, Mary. Good afternoon, my fellow sinners. I ask you to join me in prayer to our Creator God. Heavenly God, we ask you to look on your children gathered here together. Keep us free of harm. Watch over our families. Keep them protected. For all those who traveled here, Lord, give us a safe travel home and protection for our loved ones in our absence. I ask you to endow us with wisdom, Lord. Touch us with your healing hands that does provide wisdom so that we can make decisions based on good and just reasons for our members and our communities. And we pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Can you all hear me? Is the mic work? There we go. Working now. Yeah. At this time, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank the Cozy Corner for the wonderful meal. Let's all give them a hand, please. I'd like to make some introductions now for my fellow board members. Vice President Ty Cobb, he serves Virginia City, Sheridan, Twin Bridges, Lima, and Melrose. Our Secretary-Treasurer is Logan Good and his wife Tammy. They are in Tucson right now on spring break with their kids. So he represents Carter, Highwood, and Great Falls. Howard Goltz and his wife Mary represent Ennis and Harrison. You just met Harry and his wife Jana. They represent Browning and Hart Butte. Diane Golhan and her husband Brody, representing Choteau, Dupuyre, Pendroy, and Valier. Kirk Diggy represents Big Sky. Kelly McInerney and her husband Mark represent Fairfield, Augusta, Fort Shaw, and Helena. Kyle Bergmeyer and his wife Teresa representing East Conrad, Conrad, Brady, Shelby, and Power. The others here on stage with us is our attorney John Kurna and our auditor Rick Betts from Moss Adams. Since Logan's not here, I get the duty to tell us that we do have a quorum. So, thank God we got a quorum. You won't have to come back again. We could have another meal like that, though. That was good. At this time, with your approval, I would like to dispense with reading of the notice of meeting, since it was mailed out to everybody. All in favor, say aye. Okay, opposed? Okay. At this time, I'd also entertain a motion for the membership to approve the minutes as distributed in your pack and dispense with the reading of the minutes, too. We got a motion and a second to dispense with the reading. All in favor, say yes. Hey. All opposed, say no. Right? Now it's time for me to give my president's report. First off, I'd like to ask a question. How many is this their first annual meeting? Raise your hand. Okay, now I'm going to work. How many have been to 10? Keep your hands up if you've been to 20. 30. 40. 50. 60. Ethel's hand is still up. Anybody else here has been here for 60 annual meetings? For the person that's been here the longest, the most annual meetings, we're giving them $25 off their phone bill. Thank you, Ethel, for coming. Ralph, her husband, was one of the first board members on Three Rivers Telephone. Also, I want to thank everyone for coming, but also I want to thank you for allowing your board and Three Rivers Company to serve you and your needs in communications and telecommuting and all that kind of stuff. It's your company, and we are here to serve you. You come to us and ask us questions, give us comments, and those kind of things. It's your company, and help us lead it in the direction you want to go. Okay? Our mission statement is to provide superior communications that enhance our members' lives and improve our communities. We live that every day. Every board meeting we have, we start out with that in mind, and every decision we make, that's what we're trying to do, is enhance your lives, make your lives better, and our communities better. If you guys don't thrive and our communities don't thrive, Three Rivers doesn't survive. So help us, help you, and we're all one big family in this. We're looking at what the future holds for telecommunications. The future for Three Rivers actually started yesterday, 63 years ago. We're always looking, it takes us time to implement things, so the future started a while back to get stuff in place so you have what you need in the future, and for your kids and your grandkids and your great-grandkids to have what they need. So that's what we're looking at. We do it with a keen eye on financial stability and health. And we can't build it all out the same year. We don't have the people and the resources, and I mean, we're putting like $15 million into capital improvements this year. Balance that out with the rest of our stuff. We're pushing it out as fast as we can to make sure Three Rivers is financially healthy and stable to continue. We have a superior group of employees that work hard to make your lives better. That they work hard every day making things better for you, making your communication needs and those things fit your needs and your desires. We look for what's coming down the road, the young folks that are coming in. I know there's not many here today, but they are our future too. And so we're looking at what needs to be in place for them. So it is a global marketplace. We make connections worldwide so that we can live here in the best place in Montana. And we can sell our products anywhere in the world, or we can work for any company in the world and still live here in God's best place. We have a lot of national influences that affect how we do business and how we have to compete. The FCC, Congress, some part of it's the urban divide. People in larger cities, even in the larger cities in Montana, don't know what goes on in rural Montana. That we are working to raise the grain, to feed the cows, to raise the cows, the horses, the pigs, the chickens, all that stuff that we feed and clothe the world from here in rural Montana. And how keen having telecommunications, superior broadband is to that future of rural Montana and America. So we do a lot of stuff in trying to educate, cooperate with, and collaborate with numerous other industries and organizations to educate and to make them aware of what's going on in the rural communities in Montana and America. I saw a thing on Facebook the other day about a guy helping a cow have a calf. The chains were on the calf, they're helping the calf out, and somebody's comment was, well, look, they've already got chains on this calf, they're going to put it, and it's going to be eaten and destroyed. They got to do that so that we can have milk. Now, you guys all know where milk comes from. We don't have to kill the calf to have the milk. So, that's how blatant some of this stuff is. So let's educate some of these rural people on what goes on out here. We need the big data, the information, the broadband we have to feed and clothe more people with less input. So that's a big part of what we do here, is having you have the resources available to you to compete in that global marketplace. Some of the groups we work with, a lot of ag stuff, Farm Bureau, Farmers Union, stock growers, wool growers, grain growers, the lumber industry, Extension, and I know I've left out a few. all those people that, those organizations and associations to help get their members to help educate the urban folks and Congress and FCC and those folks what we need out here in rural America to stay, to thrive and to continue to our role in keeping this great United States alive and functioning. We also work a lot with education, with the Office of Public Instruction, local schools, university systems, the homeschool folks, technology and private colleges. There's a lot of education and information that can come over the internet through our broadband connections and those kind of things, working with those folks and improving what we do and what we can offer. Healthcare is a big one. We can do telemedicine for people that they don't have to travel hundreds of miles to the specialist. There's all kinds of advances in technology now for rural healthcare. I saw one at a national conference I was at, this company in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, has an ICU, EICU, so that you can hook a patient up to this monitor system and it'll connect to a doctor in a big city that can view that, and it takes the vitals from that patient every 120 seconds. So you can even be in our critical access hospitals around here in Teton Medical Center, and those folks that you don't have to have a specialized nurse sitting there watching you 24/7. He keeps more track. And then the doctor or the specialized person can send a buzzer back and say, hey, this is what you need to do there. And it's helping healthcare. Another statistics that I heard was that 1 in 5, I think it was, rural health centers are in threat of closing because of economics and those kind of things. So what we can do to help those folks stay in business. I mean, if you think about, a rural hospital, and my example comes to mind is in Jordan, Montana. If that hospital closed, they got to travel hundreds of miles to the nearest hospital. So that's what telecommunications can do, and that's what we're trying to push forward for you guys here in Three Rivers. Youth groups, 4-H, FFA, getting those people and those kids involved. They are our future customers and members. What can we do for them that lets them know that they can come back to the God's best place here in Three Rivers country and work here and live here and sell their products wherever in the world? That this is a good place. This is a great place to raise our kids. Three Rivers is a leader in the industry because of our staff, and then we have a strong connection to our members. We're pushing out advanced technologies and services as quickly as we can, like I said before, and still remaining financially responsible to our company. Again, I can't stress enough the terrific team of employees that we have here at Three Rivers and their dedication to you, the members, to make this company the strongest it can be. I remind you to contact a Three Rivers employee or a board member and have a conversation with us or them to see where you think we should be in the future. Where would you like this company to be in 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now? The future does start today. For most of Three Rivers, it started years ago, but it starts today. Contact one of us. Let's have a conversation. It's your company. Let's push it in the direction you want to go. I'll end with our mission statement again. To provide superior communication services that enhance our members' lives and improve our communities. We're in good hands here. You're in good hands. It's our family. It's our customers. You are the company. We work for you. Thank you for that privilege. I now call on our attorney, John Kurna, to lead the election process.
Good afternoon. My name is John Kuderna, and I am an attorney, and I'm going to guide you through the members' election process for the trustee positions that are open. There are 4 trustee positions up for election. Those 4 positions are currently held by Ty Cobb, Kelly McInerney, Kurt Diggy, and Harry Barnes. A nominating committee of members was appointed. That nominating committee was made up of Tootie Rasmussen, Dale Gim, Linda O'Connor, Maggie Biggerstaff, Brother Dale Mooney, and Ken Naylor. That committee met 2 times, and it made some nominations. For the area of Lima, Melrose, Sheridan, Virginia City, and Twin Bridges, it nominated Ty Cobb. For the area of Fairfield, Augusta, Fort Shaw, and Helena, the committee nominated Kelly McInerney and Dwayne Thresher, so that will be a contested election. For the area of Big Sky, the committee nominated Kurt Diggy, and for the area representing Browning and Hart Butte, the committee nominated Harry Barnes and Boyd Evans, so that too will be a contested election. At this point, I would like to see if there are any nominations from the floor in addition to those nominations made by the member nominating committee, and I'm going to do that by seat. So the first seat that I'm going to see if there's any nominations from the floor for are the seat currently held by Ty Cobb. Do I hear any nominations from the floor to run for election for that trustee seat? Having heard none, I'll move on to the next seat, which is the seat currently held by Kelly McInerney. The nominating committee nominated Kelly and Dwayne Thresher. Are there any additional nominations from the floor for that seat? Any nominations from the floor for the seat currently held by Kelly McInerney? Having heard none, I'll move on to the third seat. That's the seat currently held by Kurt Diggy. Are there any nominations from the floor for that trustee position? Having heard none, we'll move on to the fourth seat. That's the seat currently held by Harry Barnes. Nominating committee nominated Harry Barnes and Boyd Evans. Do I hear any nominations from the floor for that trustee position? Okay, having heard none then, we have all your nominations in place. The way the election will proceed is each of the nominated candidates will give a speech. That speech will be held to 3 minutes each. And I want to let each one of those nominated candidates know that I will be holding you to that 3-minute limit so that this meeting doesn't run on all afternoon. I think the members would like to get through with the election. After the speeches, we will go on to the ballots. And I'd like you to understand, because there may be some confusion by some members, there's 2 types of ballots. There's a mail-in ballot and there's an in-person ballot. The mail-in ballot is only for absentee members. And I believe as you came in, if you voted by mail-in ballot, there were staff members that asked you that question. And if you did a mail-in ballot, you're not to be doing and you're here, you shouldn't be doing a mail-in ballot. You should only be doing an in-person ballot. So hopefully they collected those from you. Yes, sir. We're not going to count 2 ballots for any member because I'm not going to allow that. So I do, along with some tellers. I'm going to run a fair election. There will be no double counting of ballots. So as I was saying, the mail-in ballots are for people that aren't here today. The ballots that you have today are for people that are present. So that's how we'll go to the voting. Okay? So we'll start now with the speeches. And the first candidate's speech will come from Kirk Diggy. Kirk?
Thank you, John. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, members of Three Rivers Cooperative, and those who may be watching on the internet. Again, my name is Kirk Diggy, and I've been a trustee now for 9 years, and I'm representing the Big Sky area. And I'd like to serve another 3-year term. This also marks 9 years since the first time I came to Fairfield to run for this position, and so it's also 9 years that I've not had to use a road map to find Fairfield. So I don't know how many people have been to Big Sky, but I suspect not a lot in the last 2 or 3 years. Following Mary, of course, I have a pin that says Rural Matters. And of course, Mary's already covered a lot of what I was going to say, but I would like to just reiterate, as someone that's lived in rural Montana all of my life, I think we all know how important internet services are to all of us for our businesses. It includes everything that Mary talked about, but also their, water resources, energy, recreation, like in Big Sky, and even the military. So some of the folks, with all due respect, back east, do not understand how rural America works. And I think it's important that we all be aware of that, and we need to elect officials that do understand and work together to change the attitude of the federal government. One of the questions that I always get from constituents is, what are the duties and functions of the board of directors? And I like to sum it up in 3 ways. First of all, we hire and fire the general manager. We set a budget every year, which of course includes capital improvement projects. And the third thing that is sort of a catch-all is strategic planning. And that's basically a roadmap for the next 3 to 5 years. And that's quite extensive, but what does it mean? Strategic planning is analyzing our external and internal influences on the organization, our strengths and weaknesses, opportunities and threats. So we're always looking at all these things each year and renewing our plan. I didn't time this, so I'll move on. I'll close with this. An interesting fact that I wanted to mention is there are 9 individuals that I've served with on this board that are no longer on the board, and that's just in short 9 years. So if you take the 9 people that are on the board now and the 9 that we've had that are no longer on the board, that's 18 people in 9 years. That's unprecedented in the history of Three Rivers. And we're on our 4th general manager. And Dave's been here at least about half the time that I've been on the board. So the point is that we need healthy diversity is good, and we need stability, and I urge you to continue that. Thank you. And it's my privilege to serve on the board. Thank you.
Thank you, Kirk. And I'm sorry to make you nervous by running the clock on you, but the next candidate speech will be from Ty Cobb. And if you see me standing next to you, start closing. No, it hasn't started yet.
Hasn't started yet. Good afternoon, Three Rivers family. Many of you remember that the co-op started by stringing the telephone lines over existing fence posts, with the party line traffic controlled by the local operator. I shared with you during previous visits that my background is finance and banking. I never banked the telecommunications industry, but I had early exposure to the technology. It began when my brother and I strung together 2 Minute Maid orange juice cans with kite string. And we were then able to hear, "Watson, come here. I want to see you." Our technology advanced when Welch's grape juice came out with a stronger can. The resonance of the transmission was so much better. Perhaps a number of you worked with the same technology a few years back. We have all gained from the new technology. It may have started with the Dick Tracy wristwatch. Now you can use your mobile phone to watch your grandchildren across the country act in a school play. The authors of comic books never envisioned you watching a Netflix movie from your tractor cab. We have that technology, and it's your Three Rivers that makes it work. All kidding aside, the industry has been in turmoil for the last 5 years. The FCC transition order of 2011 shook the very foundation that allowed Three Rivers to lay infrastructure to reach its customer base. Technology, customer demands, the geometric expansion of the internet greatly outpaced government regulation and oversight. Attempting to correct this, the FCC, with its own game of whack-a-mole, has added political considerations into the mix. Urban versus rural, voter concentrations, wireless company PACs and their monetary influence all cloud the horizon. We have our work cut out for us. I also have had the privilege of representing Three Rivers on the Montana Telecommunications Association Board, also known as MTA. During this time, the Montana Independent Telecommunications System, known as MITST, ceased to exist. MTA used the opportunity to meet with the former MITST board members. A proposal to come together faced a number of obstacles, not the least of which was the competitive history. As the only non-employee professional on the board, I worked to build a bridge between the organizations. Everyone worked together, compromised, the outcome of which I am proud is a joinder between the former MITST and MTA boards into a single, much stronger statewide association. The combination has been applauded by our congressional representatives, Senator Tester, Senator Daines, and Representative Zinke. The FCC is not yet finished with its manipulation of the industry. A clarification of the transfer order is due any moment now. I would ask that you grant me another 3-year term to work with my fellow board members in guiding the co-op during this transition. Thank you.
Thank you, Ty. Now we'll hear from candidate Dwayne Thresher.
They've only given me 3 minutes to talk, and I have a lot to say, so forgive me if I just read through this quickly. We'll discuss all this more in the new business part of the meeting, and you can always talk to me about it. My name is Dwayne Thresher, and I'm a trustee nominee for Fairfield, Augusta, Fort Shaw, and Helena. I live on a Fairfield farm with my wife and 5-year-old daughter. I have a PhD in a supercomputing field from Columbia University and NASA, a BS in electrical engineering and computer science from MIT. I used to work as a network engineer for a Department of Defense supercomputing facility, but now I have a local business at Networks Buildings. I also have a lot of experience with rural and urban telecoms. Although Three Rivers prevented me from talking to most members, you might have seen my ads in the Acanta and the Sun-Times. They are very critical of Three Rivers, but I have a lot of detailed proof of everything I say in them. Both personally and professionally, I have nothing but problems with Three Rivers for years. Many of my neighbors and customers have related similar stories to those that follow. For example, when I first came here, I applied for an open technical position at Three Rivers, for which I was extremely qualified. They refused to even respond to me and gave the position to someone less qualified, probably a friend or relative, and incompetent. I once was able to talk to Dave Gibson about this, and he said he would look into it, but he never did. When they are not giving jobs to incompetent friends and relatives, they are outsourcing jobs. The incompetence of Three Rivers has cost my company many hours and so a lot of money. Three Rivers was created to support local businesses, not hinder them. Like you, my neighbors, customers, and I have watched as the price of Three Rivers service has increased year after year dramatically. And Dave Gibson admits that there is no end in sight to these price increases. Three Rivers has tried to hide these increases or explain them away nonsensically. The real reasons for these price increases are several. For example, the services of a company with too many incompetent employees are, of course, too expensive. And then there are the extravagant giveaways in various forms, like letting employees run private businesses out of Three Rivers, parties, straight giveaways, and buying the support of at least 2 newspapers with many unnecessary expensive ads. Three Rivers email uses a spam filter that will block some emails to you without ever notifying you that they were blocked. I discovered this when I tried to exchange emails with another business, and they had to mail me a notice that their emails to me were being blocked. How much business has been lost by local businesses due to this? I had to get a Three Rivers non-Three Rivers email account for my business. Perhaps worse, in the last presidential election, I could not receive emails from certain Republican groups because they were blocked by Three Rivers. You can't fix a badly broken company if the shareholders are uninformed and have no say. Three Rivers has paid for at least 2 customer satisfaction surveys over the years. I even participated in one. Has anyone ever seen the results of these surveys? Three Rivers has a website and provides email service, not to mention their expensive mailings and newspaper ads. Certainly they could have contacted members about this somehow. And Three Rivers always advertises, "Tell us how we are doing." I've complained many times and never received a response. The Board of Trustee elections are outrageous. There is no mailing for the call for nominees, only 1 newspaper ad. I talked to 3 of the supposedly independent nominating committee, and they all sent me to Lisa Brady, a Three Rivers employee. Same thing happened last year. And only last year did they begin sending out absentee ballots, as had always been required by the bylaws. Before that, you could only vote if you could take the workday off and come to the annual meeting. One trustee a nominee works for and is a shareholder in the same company another trustee works for, and this was not even noted. I asked to let trustee nominees contact all members via email and was refused. The ballots are not secret, and that scared off many voters. And I received 2 ballots, so I think many members did. Who is going to count them, and are they going to make sure members don't vote twice? Finally, why can't voting in an ISP company be done online or by email? You're probably asking, what can just one trustee do? A major purpose of a corporation is to protect the officers of a company from personal liability. In return, they must follow the bylaws of the company. If they violate those bylaws, they become personally liable. Legal action can be taken against them. Dave Gibson could even be forced to resign. We'll discuss all this more in the new business part of the meeting, and you can always talk to me about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dwayne. Next candidate speech will be from Kelly McInerney.
Okay, well, I promise I'm going to do it in my time limit. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a bean counter, not a public speaker, okay? Okay, I'm Kelly McInerney, and for the past 5 years, it's been an honor and a privilege to represent the Fort Shaw, Fairfield, Augusta, and Helena area. It's hard to believe that it's been nearly 30 years since I graduated from Montana State University and decided to make the Fairfield bench my forever home. My husband came to take over the family farm, and I quickly put down roots in a new community where I've raised 4 beautiful daughters. With your support and patronage, I have spent the better part of that 30 years helping to build a successful, well-respected accounting firm. As a certified public accountant, I can look out and see many, many faces that have sat across the desk from me year after year. You have put your trust in me as your professional tax advisor, and now I'm asking you to trust me as your representative to the Board of Trustees. As a voting member of this co-op, I guess I would seek a candidate that is engaged, loyal, fiscally responsible, and well-respected among their peers. I believe that I can fill that role. I feel that my personal, business, financial experiences can lend a unique perspective to the board. I'm willing to contribute my time and talent to understand the unique challenges that are facing Three Rivers. And I'm willing to work cooperatively with the board to find solutions to those problems. Three Rivers' financial health is a primary concern to me. Being part of a Main Street business, I know firsthand the impact that Three Rivers and its employees has on the lifeblood of our small communities. During my 5 years as trustee, Three Rivers has plowed 1,500 miles of fiber. Now, all of you members in Fort Shaw and Augusta have have fiber to your homes. It's because of our financial strength, prudent management, and I have to say awesome accounting team, that we are able to secure unique loans that allow us to continue upgrading our infrastructure. Specifically, in the next 2 years, we will be adding fiber to the home for rural Choteau, all of Brady, and much of rural Fairfield. Our ability to continue with these upgrades is dependent on maintaining our financial strength. Nationwide, many rural co-ops are merely surviving. I'm proud to say that Three Rivers is responsibly thriving. Thank you for your support, and I look forward to serving you.
Thank you, Kelly. We'll now hear from candidate Boyd Evans.
Hello, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Boyd Evans from Browning. I've lived and worked in the Browning Heart Butte area for 50 years. Raised my family there. My 3 grown kids live in Browning, and me and my wife run a small home heating maintenance business. And a friend of mine asked me if I wanted to be on the board, and I thought, in my 50 years of experience in business in Browning and Heart Butte, I thought I maybe could help. So that's what I'm doing. If I could help, I'd like to. Three Rivers has been a good company to me for, she says, since 1984. So that's when we got Three Rivers. And if I could be of help, I'd like to. Thank you.
Thank you, Boyd. We'll now hear from candidate Harry Barnes.
Thank you all for allowing me to be here. I'm so happy and proud to be here. I have to, my wife says I have to list my great qualities. I only got 3 minutes, so that gives me like 2.5 minutes to kill when I'm done. I'm going to step out of order, though, because I just thought of a fantastic campaign speech on my way up here, and I just made it up. I want to see, because I'm already rejecting it. I want to make Three Rivers great again. You guys heard that one? I thought of it, and I thought, man, that might be a catchy, snappy one. But then I realized this is and has been a great company. This company has some great, fantastic employees that are doing a great job for you. They have a great staff. We deliver a great product. Most of all, we got some of the greatest, smartest, brightest owners in the world right out here, and I'm glad to count myself amongst them. So we don't need to make Three Rivers great again. It's still great. It's going to be great. It'll be great when Harry's gone. Because the cooperative model works, folks. It is. Because you own it. You operate it. Go back to list my great qualities. I'm on the Holy Family Mission Foundation. I'm on the De La Salle Blackfeet Middle School Board, chairman. I'm on the Three Rivers Board of Directors. Because of that, I was elected to the National Information Solutions Cooperative. It's a cooperative of cooperatives, but we deal in IT, we deal in billing software for electric and telephone cooperatives. Last January, I was elected chairman of that board, and I'm very proud of that. In fact, because we've got a lot of electric directors, so no offense to you electric directors in here, but I'm a veteran. That's a very proud accomplishment that I hold near and dear to me, as well as my sons. I created and started 3 businesses. You know, so I have a business background. Do I have a business degree? No, I earned mine the whole hard way by paying money out for mistakes I made. But through that, I learned the process of decision making. And then a little over a year and a half ago, I was elected chairman of the Blackfeet Tribal Business Council, which has become an adventure. Every day is an adventure. Some days there's misadventure, but every day is an adventure. But it's taught me the importance of a good, sound decision-making process that I have to use and incorporate. I've published every budget. I've only helped develop 2, but I've published them in the local paper. I publish and put forth all of our audits. We were behind 3 when I came into office. Today, the Blackfeet tribe is fully compliant with all requirements. And so I'm proud of that, but I'm proud of the fact more of the process of decision making and transparency for the members to make their lives better. Just as we do each day trying to make I still got half a page. But, no. So I'm very much involved in trying to improve lives of our tribal members, but the members here. Last week we got the announcement that we won a great battle in the Badger 2 medicine to eliminate oil and gas exploration up there. I'm not opposed to exploration. I am in the Badger 2 medicine area. That wasn't a victory for the Blackfeet tribe. That was a victory for all Montana people, because that is a beautiful, wonderful place. Someday I want my grandsons, granddaughters to be able to go up there and commune with nature, because that is a beautiful place. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. You know, I'm down here trying to represent the members. Somebody said some time ago, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. I'm down here to make sure that our members are represented at the table. I thank you for your past opportunity. If you choose me to represent you again, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it, but I thank you for your faith you've already placed in me. So God bless you all. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Harry. Well, now I'd like you to cast your ballots, and I'd like the tellers to please collect all the ballots, and then I will proceed to count the ballots, and I'll be back before you later to announce the results of the election before the meeting adjourns. Thank you very much for allowing me to run your election.
While you're passing in your ballots, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our nominating committee again for their service to Three Rivers. Tootie Rasmussen, Dale Gim, Linda O'Connor, Maggie Biggerstaff, Brother Dale Mooney, and Ken Naylor. Please give them a round of applause and thank them for their service to your... Be sure you get your ballot turned into somebody, and they'll take them in the back room and get them counted up. You still got a ballot and want to vote, raise your hand. Someone will be by to pick it up. Make sure you just turn it in your ballots and not the questionnaire question thing. So we'll wait that for later. We got everybody's ballot. We don't want to miss anybody. Okay. In the last 5 years, our community enhancement grants, 3 years has contributed approximately $131,000 to 74 different community organizations, such as public libraries to increase technology opportunities, volunteer fire departments, emergency services to support those who keep us safe. Our next guest came to us from Ennis. We're very pleased to have Mary Oliver with us today. She's the Senior Vice President of the First Madison Valley Bank, here to talk to us about what 3 years in community enhancement grants have done for the Madison Valley. Please join me in welcoming Mary Oliver.
Thank you, Mary, for the introduction, and I'm pleased the attorney is counting ballots, because if he was timing me, I would be in trouble. I want to extend a special thank you to Susan Wilson for encouraging me, inviting me to come to speak to you all today. And I want to congratulate each and every one of you for your success in keeping a rural co-op alive and well, having been founded in 1953 as a telephone co-op. You operate according to time-honored traditions wherein people understand that if they join with others, they have more power and more choices than if they stand alone. You operate under 7 basic principles. The principle about which I'm going to speak is that of the support of the community, giving back to the communities you serve. Having spent 50 years working for First Madison Valley Bank in Ennis, I well know that 3 Rivers is a household word throughout Madison County as a quality provider of services and highly respected as a local corporate citizen. In fact, 3 Rivers is the most amazing of the Madison County corporate citizens, touching the lives of 7,700 people scattered over 2.3 million acres. When I think about the support you lend to the 5 communities in Madison County, it is clear to me that what sets your company apart from the rest of the philanthropic world is that of community involvement stacked on top of community support. Throughout a year, traveling professionally as a public relations officer for First Madison Valley Bank, I am forever crossing paths with 3 Rivers public relations representatives, Susan and Kevin. Traveling hundreds of miles, their smiles change the world. They don't let the world change their smiles. And they genuinely take an interest and engage with one group after another. Yes, financially supporting, but equally as important, adding human spirit by being physically present, helping further the missions and bolster the conversations of the various Madison County schools and nonprofits who are making America the unusual country that it is, strengthening the fabric of rural Montana, which we all hold near and dear to our hearts. How is it that you all as a co-op make a difference? By supporting fundraising efforts and being involved in the activities of the various chambers who promote business development and tourism. By supporting the FFA programs, an ambitious program that makes a positive difference in the lives of students by developing their potential for premier leadership, personal growth, and career success through agricultural education. By supporting the close-up school programs, giving hundreds of students an inside look at their democracy in action using the nation's capital as a living classroom. By supporting school booster clubs, music, arts, and theater to which access reveals the power to inspire and motivate today's students as proven by one study after another. Music, art, and theater are universal languages defining society. By supporting a variety of school sports programs encompassing way more than just physical benefits. Sports teach discipline, self-esteem, mental alertness, the spirit of teamwork, respectfulness, sportsmanship, the thrill of victory, and yes, the agony of defeat. By supporting transportation grants to the schools and the county 4-H extension offices, making the wheels on the bus go round and round while the kids on the bus go up and down, motoring through rural Montana to experience grassroots life and events outside of the classroom. By supporting and participating with preservation alliances and local history groups, recognizing that historic preservation is much more about the future than the past. Saving landmark buildings and cultural places enhances our quality of life and makes our communities attractive and meaningful places to live, visit, work, and builds a future of the past for those who will come after us. By participating and investing in our public libraries, the cornerstone of our communities, the local gateway to knowledge equally available to all members of the community. And it's there in Madison County that Three Rivers offers 6 spring and 6 fall tech classes, free to the general public. By participating with groups who have developed community gardens, sustainably supporting gardening for production, education, and the enjoyment of the community, they become a social gathering place. By honoring and supporting 4-H throughout, I'd love to see a raise of hands of how many of you have family who have participated in 4-H. Love it. Rural Montana is 4-H, 4-H is rural Montana. And your support, you're taking a part of young people pledging their heads to clearer thinking, their hearts to greater loyalty, their hands to greater service, and their health to better living for their club, their community, their country, and their world. 4-H in Montana represents the largest of all organized youth groups. It prepares members for the reality of life, winning, losing, work ethic, and bottom line, while promoting honesty, sportsmanship, leadership, public speaking, citizenship, good stewardship, and friendships for life. By supporting and honoring rodeo, a Montana tradition where the cowboys and cowgirls symbolize a free lifestyle and are guaranteed an unsteady paycheck. Spectators reminisce of times long ago and the tradition of the cowboy that lives on in Montana. Your support to volunteer fire departments, those fire departments consisting of dedicated volunteers from all walks of life who are on call 24/7 to minimize risk to life, health, and property from fire, trauma, and hazardous conditions. Your contributions make a difference in training opportunities and equipment needs. Interesting, it was in 1773 that Benjamin Franklin touted the importance of local folks of different ages, professions, and titles to apply themselves with all vigilance and resolution according to their abilities to the hard work of protecting their neighborhoods from fire. Your support of local medical centers and hospitals is critical. We've heard that spoken about a couple times today, and those centers strive to inspire and promote health and wellness for each person through excellence in health care. And last but not least, Three Rivers' support of educational scholarships for high school graduates throughout your several service areas is remarkable. We all know that education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. Again, thank you for allowing me to share my perspective and the value that you, as the Three Rivers Community Co-op, lend to your communities. Thank you for continuing to practice and honor the principle of giving back to the communities you serve. You couldn't have a better team of public relation representatives than Susan Wilson and Kevin McWilliams. Your financial support, coupled with their spirit, their energy, and their smiles, change our world for the better. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, ma'am. I have a gift here for Mary for all of her hard work and support of our members in the Madison Valley and for her support of Three Rivers. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you very much.
Now it's the time you've all been waiting for, the most exciting time of the day. The audit. Here's Rick Betts from Moss Adams for our audit report. Go Zags.
Thank you, Mary, for that introduction. Yes, go Zags. The good news is I don't have a 3-minute limit. I'm not going to have John up here standing right next to me. Just super intimidating. The bad news is I forgot my reading glasses. Okay? Yeah, no, I'm okay. No, so I'll zip through this fairly quickly. As your auditor, my job really on behalf of the members on the board is to be an independent person that looks at your financial records and assures that they're reasonably stated. And then here at this meeting to talk to you and let you know if there's any financial matters that need to come to your attention. And as you know from previous riveting presentations of mine, that you have a strong financial statement. So let's zip through this kind of quickly. We're on page 13 and 14. And go ahead and take notes if you'd like. But let's start on page 13, which is the income statement. And, the top part of the actual numbers that show up on the audit. And you can see the net margins of the co-op went from about $1.9 million up to $3.5 million. Okay, obviously a great progress from last year, and that $3.5 million is kind of about the zone that Three Rivers expects to be in and has been in for a number of years. And it sounds, of course, like a lot of money, but when you have assets of $123 million and you're constantly putting new network facilities in, it takes an income like that to reinvest and make that happen. So the numbers on there represent the income and expenses that take it down to that $3.5 million. And so total revenues were just under $47 million. And again, that was up almost $4 million from last year. If you look at that pie graph on the bottom left, what I would point out, a couple things. That dark red, which is more than half of the revenues, that revenue really represents what comes from outside sources in to make it affordable to do communications and internet here in your service area. And so a lot of that, the vast majority of that, is a federal support program, and then the rest of it comes from other carriers that use your network. The other thing that's interesting there is the purple is internet, broadband, and the blue is your local phone bill. And you can see that as time has gone on, that internet revenue is more significant than your local voice line. So anyway, revenues were up good, and then the reason you made more money this year is your expenses weren't up quite as much as your revenue. Expenses were up about $1.7 million, and so again, that led to the increased income that you had this year. And the main increase in expense has to do with that internet, and it has to do with depreciation on the equipment that you continue to invest in every year. And then notice at the bottom you have income tax expense, and you made $3.5 million, but you only paid $26,000 in income taxes. Pretty good deal. And really that's another form, in a way, of federal support, because as a cooperative you're allowed to be tax exempt, and you do pay a little bit of tax, but it's just on certain kinds of income. Okay, that's the income statement. Page 14 is, we'll start at the bottom, and that's the cash flow. So the question is, how much cash did the cooperative generate? And we're just going to look at a couple numbers there. In total, you ended up with about the same amount of cash at the end of the year that you had at the beginning of the year. It looks like it's less here, but you invested in some certificates of deposit, and when you add that in, it's about the same. So, you have roughly, what is that? Roughly just short of $20 million in available cash. Okay, so here are the numbers at the bottom of the page. That first subtotal there, net cash from operating activities, $17,162,000. You see that? That's what the company generates, and that's made up of the net margins and largely the depreciation expense. And then the line below that is net acquisition of property, plant, and equipment. That's what you've reinvested in the network, and that was $18 million. So cash that you took in pretty much paid for the investments that the cooperative made in 2015. So that's why you were able, without really borrowing additional money, you were able to end the year with about the same amount of cash. Okay, so that was the bottom of the page. The top of page 14 is your balance sheet, and that's what you own and what you owe. And as I mentioned earlier, you have $123 million in assets, and the members' equity in that is it's that second to the bottom number, 57 million. So that's about 46% of your assets is what you own as members, and the vast majority of that obviously is supporting the equipment that runs the operation and gets reinvested. But every year you pay out capital credits, which picked up some today, and that number is roughly $1.3 million over the course of most years. So you have a good membership equity, and as I already mentioned, on the assets, you have enough cash really to cover a year's operations, and then the vast majority of those assets is that net property, plant, and equipment, which is $87 million. So the vast majority of your assets are just invested in the network that you have. So that's a look at the financial statements. I'm still afraid John's going to come over here and stand next to me, so I'm just going to call it good there. However, I will be around if there's any questions. And of course, oh, excuse me, Mary. Oh, you were standing there. Just for that, I'm going to keep going. No. And of course, Brad knows all the answers to these questions as well. So thank you, and go Zags.
I don't quite look like John, but I thought I could fool him a little bit. At this moment, I'd like to entertain a motion from the membership to approve the audit. We got a first and a second to approve the audit. All in favor say yes. All opposed? Hey, the audit's been approved. I'd like to right now to introduce you to CEO General Manager David Gibson to provide his report on the state of the Three Rivers Company.
Yeah, do it now. You may not be so excited to clap when we're all done here. Good afternoon, and thank you all for coming out. Great turnout today. Couldn't ask for better weather. I think it's the best weather I've had since I've been coming to these annual meetings. Take care of a couple of quasi-housekeeping things first. Some introductions to make. For 3 years in a row, I forgot to introduce my wife, and then I go back to the board meeting, and they beat the you-know-what out of me. So I'm going to introduce my lovely wife, Marka, in the back of the room there. Just wave. There. Thank you. There. That gets me off the hook for at least a little while. We are joined today by Jeff Feiss, who is the general manager of MTA. Did he leave? Oh, he's there. He's just shy. Gordon McComber, who is a former lieutenant governor. I know I saw him here earlier. He may have left. Scott Odegaard, general manager over at Sun River. There he is. We have Ron Osberg and Jim Hotchkiss, two of our Teton County commissioners. There we go. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here. And finally, Matt Hudson from the general manager at Glacier Electric up north. And I know I saw him here too. Oh, man. How could you leave before the audit report? I don't understand that. All right, one other thing. And Susan, are we going to run ads on the tech classes? Yeah, okay. So what we've been doing for the last couple of years, it's been really effective. We've had some great feedback. Is we run free tech classes open to the community, and we move them around, to our various exchanges. But we will be at the Fairfield School on Saturday, April 2nd, and we will be offering 3 classes: Windows 10, Internet security, and devices. Just your iPads, your Android phones, your tablets, and how to use them, how to get the most out of them. Really good classes. Again, they're free. Susan will be running ads in the papers with more details to remember, but I would encourage you to make those classes if you can. We get really good feedback from folks that have been able to attend those. All right, so I say this every year. I assume you all graduated from at least the 8th grade and you can read, so I'm not going to go through and regurgitate my entire report that I painstakingly wrote for your annual report. But I do want to hit a few things, and I have to admit, I'd hope not to have to. Just going to start out maybe on a little bit of a negative note here, but I think that there are some things that have been said about Three Rivers and our employees that I feel need to be addressed. Number one, it is true we are leasing out part of our old, the Circle K building, the DBS building down on the highway. We are offering that to an employee. Actually, there's a non-employee that's leasing part of it too, at market rates with a real lease agreement. Okay, number one,
this is not an open forum, but I'm going to answer that question. The bylaws say that we cannot dispose of significant assets, leasing, or sale of significant assets. I assume that you've read that. Now, we have $120 million of assets, and that building in its entirety is about 0.00001% of that asset base, and I'm only leasing out part of it. So I'm pretty sure we fall within the guidelines of the bylaws. That is a perfect answer. It is, sir, you have the opportunity to ask questions. I'll be happy to answer them. This is not a back and forth. It is true that we have not given out your emails and your personal contact information. Not only didn't we do it, I won't do it. I have absolutely no control of how that information gets used if I don't protect it. So that's the, now, you know what? It's true. Your mail-in ballots are not secret. Why is that? Because the bylaws require you to sign it. We don't have any choice. And for the same reason, we don't allow electronic voting because the bylaws written in 1952 didn't even know what email was. So without changes to the bylaws, we have to kind of do with what we have best we can get by. Now, and this is the last point, and I'm going to move on to some way more good stuff. Okay? I have worked for 4 Fortune 500 companies, a lot of smaller ones. I was an Army Ranger for 4 years. I'm here to tell you, I know something about high performance teams and a good set of employees. And I'm here to tell you, I would hold up our employees at Three Rivers against any other group of people that I have ever worked with in my entire career. All right. I think we checked that block, so let's talk about, you've heard several times that we did end the year in good financial position. Let me tell you what, that's really important because we've talked, several other speakers have talked about the big changes of the federal government that are going to dramatically affect, you know, how much money we have and our ability to support, you know, expanded infrastructure in our service areas. So it's very important that we're kind of starting out on a strong note, and then when these rules come out in probably the next couple of weeks, and literally it could be this Friday, we should be in pretty good position to weather the storm, kind of figure out the new landscape, and we'll be fine. As you know, Mary mentioned that we're going to spend $15 million this next year. Now, for a company that makes $45 million of revenues total, spending $15 million on fiber to the home and other infrastructure projects, that's a big deal. Also, we just, and this is in my report, so I lied, I'm going to repeat it. We just recently were awarded another $30 million loan from Rural Utility Services so that we can continue our fiber to the home and other expansions through the year 2020. Now, you may recall, 5 years ago, we got a $70 million loan. You know, things are changing, and so we have to be prudent, but still that amount of money over 5 years ought to put us in pretty good position to build out some exchanges in entirety, including a good part of Shoto, good part of Browning, Lima, Brady. They're actually getting done next year. But this is important because I'm going to talk about this. Maybe it's not an 800-pound gorilla in the room, but it's at least a 300-pound gorilla in the room. We have had to raise prices over the last few years, and that is true. That is a fact. But, well, okay, sir, listen, that you are correct. See, the oldest trick in the book, if you're dealing with statistics, is you kind of cherry pick the data, right? You just pick the few endpoints that get you the answer you want. Because if you go back to the time we started off from broadband over 12 years ago, and you average the average annual price increase that Three Rivers has required of our members, it has been less than 1.5% a year, below the rate of inflation, whatever. So you can pick the last couple of years because it gets you the answer you want. But we've been very prudent with your money and still be able to do the infrastructure upgrades we need. And I'm going to tell you this is flat out true. This is okay. This is a fact. If we had not raised prices the last couple of years, we would not have access to capital. No. Why? Okay.
When it's time for new business, the members can decide to vote on what new business it wants to take. This is time for him to speak. Please don't interrupt him.
See how that works. So, just to leave that point, what I'm telling you is if we don't have some modest price increases, we can't invest. I have no access to capital to be able to go out there and plow new fiber and fix those cabinets and get you better speeds and better service. So it's part of being prudent and financially responsible. If you think any of us like raising prices, you're crazy. Okay? I mean, I don't like raising them any more than well, it's not a popular thing. We do it because we have to and because we're going to keep this company on sound footing. So now I want to talk real briefly here about some things going on with television, because there's some pretty big changes. First of all, the old cable television plant, or we call it plant, industry lingo, infrastructure that we bought from Breslin a number of years ago. Okay, that stuff's been rode hard and put away wet. Okay, and we need to replace it. So we are actively replacing that with our IPTV-based product, more, high def channels, more channels, better product. So that's happening. We're just finishing up Shelby. We're going to Conrad next, and then we'll be hitting Shoto after we get those projects. And there's a rhyme to the reason of why we're doing it in that order. We raise television prices every year, and that's a fact. It is just a flat pass-through of the increased programming costs. You want ESPN, you want the local NBC station. We are held hostage by those people and what they charge us to carry their content on our television. So it is true that we're passing through those costs. We're not making anything, but we do have to keep up with those increased costs. And by the way, it's kind of interesting. In fact, it's not just sleepy little Three Rivers doing this. I mean, we are a member of a 20 million member national cooperative buying group. So we are getting the same buying power as a DirecTV, as a Dish Network, as some of the other cable companies. But we're held hostage. Hate to say this, but it looks like it might be slowing down, but it ain't going away anytime soon. And that's just the reality of that. So I know we're going to have Q&A, and I'm pretty much wrapped up, but I'm going to end with one short story of why it is such a great thing to work in this company. So this true story, last week, I mean, we've been busting, hard work getting ready for these fiber projects and all the other construction that we've got going on this summer. So I'm not going to mention his name because he'd be mortified, but I grabbed a guy that had been working especially hard, and I just pulled him aside and I said, I just wanted to say thanks because you are doing a great job. And we appreciate, even though I sit up in my exalted corner office drinking coffee all day, I am actually paying attention to some of these folks that are really doing a great job for our members. So that's easy. I mean, you always like giving compliments, right? But this is what was so special about that, is the next morning I come into work pretty early, and I didn't even have a chance to get my coffee. It was like 6:30 in the morning, and that guy is standing at my desk. And you know what he's saying? He's saying, well, Dave, I appreciate the compliment, but you know what? It was so-and-so and such and such and this person and that person, and we all worked as a team, and I just can't take that credit on my own. And I'm like, you know what? That's what it's all about, and that's your Three Rivers team. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dave. This moment, I'd like to have you send in your pink questionnaires. If you have any questions, write them on the pink sheets. Pass them to this the north, whatever. Your left. Pass them to me. I see a few pink papers still coming in, so we'll wait just a minute. Any more pink paper questions that you want? Susan's collecting them up here. While our team is reading the questions and determining who's going to answer the questions, at this point I'd like to invite John Kruna back up here to this podium and go over the new business section for us. Any questions first or wait? You ready for questions? I'm ready. Changing the order. We're going to go ahead and do with questions and answer your questions.
Okay, I'm going to try and go through these pretty quick, and I'll consolidate some of them for the sake of time. Jesus, I mean, we burned down some pink trees doing this one today. All right, it does seem that privacy in voting is a legitimate concern. I agree. We have no choice. If you want to mail in the ballot, you must sign it. It's in the bylaws. We have talked about, affecting changes to that, but at this point, it's hard. It's really hard. So if you want to have... All right. Have you read the... Okay, sit down, sir. Sit down. I'm done. The answer is you must sign the ballot that is being counted with your vote on it by our bylaws. And so that's what we're doing. Grace has always been said before we eat. We did the invocation.
Oh, we did it after we ate.
Oh, yeah. I was not responsible for that. That's Lisa. That one I'm going to have to call. I'm not sure I understand the question. Okay, I am sorry. There are a few of these that well, this one doesn't have a name. Okay, they advertise on the RFD channel that some cable companies may lose RFD channel. Does that affect Three Rivers? Not at this point. Okay, but here's what's going on. Okay, what happens is these channels with the content, right? They grab you and they go, I'm going to double your prices, or I'm going to triple your prices, and I'm going to charge you whatever I feel like. And people like you want the RFD channel, so you can't get held hostage. Every once in a while, a company plays a little brinksmanship, so like a Comcast or a Cox or whatever. We haven't really done that at Three Rivers, but says, fine, I won't carry your channel, and we'll just see how that goes. And it's a game, and it should not affect Three Rivers. We have not engaged in that kind of brinksmanship. Did you ever think of buying the Dutton telephone exchange? It's in the middle of your service area. Okay, true story. Back when I was with the evil empire, Quest, now CenturyLink, we were really close to buying Dutton and a bunch of other little exchanges. And we were this close. And the deal was just about done. And all of a sudden, CenturyLink buys Quest, and CenturyLink says, we don't sell exchanges, period, end of discussion. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. So I think there are some really good logical fits out there, but you got to have a willing buyer and a willing seller. So that's the story on Dutton. I agree. It's a perfect fit. Okay, thanks for the ballots. How are the nominees chosen? Okay. Didn't we used to be able to nominate, or did we miss something? So, as we've talked a little bit, and it is in the bylaws. Bylaws are in the back of your phone book. I know. You need a good pair of reading glasses to read them. I know I do. But they're there. And what happens is the board, your sitting board, picks a nominating committee, then that committee acts independently to find candidates in the exchanges that are open.
The information goes to Three Rivers. In my own case, I submitted my stuff for the nomination and went right to Three Rivers, and you responded with an article in the Sherwood Hampton about rising rivers.
Oh yeah, I forgot the press is in my back pocket too.
Kelly McInerney responded with an ad. You need some secrecy. It's supposed to be independent.
Let me just say this. My life would be a whole heck of a lot easier if I could actually control the press and just get them to do whatever I want them to do. Doesn't work that way. So the answer is that the nominating committee picks the members. After the nominating committee decides who the nominees are, then we need some information.
That question was asked by a woman who talked to me. She wanted to know why I didn't send out a mailing asking for nominees. Instead, it was one newspaper ad asking for nominees.
Well, it obviously was good enough for you to see it. Okay, this is a service problem. I have several technical problems, so if I'm not getting your question, just trust me, I'll have somebody call you, and we're going to need to get a little bit more detail in working through that. I have several. Coffee should be available until the meeting is adjourned. Okay, now look, I love the Cozy Corner. I do, and I eat there as often as my wife will allow me. And my waistline isn't not better off for it, but it's great. But yes, we'll fix that for next year. You're talking to the king of coffee drinkers here. If necessary, is there a provision for an immediate recall on an elected position? So the answer is yes. There is specified in the bylaws. Again, you can read it. To 200 members sign a petition, and it has to go to the board. Then you have to have a little hearing, and it's all laid out in the bylaws. I don't want to get it wrong, but it's there are provisions. When is construction starting to install fiber optic on the east end of the bench? And will we be notified in advance of starting construction on our part? Yes, you will be notified, and we are just ramping up now. In fact, Ernie, are you back there? When do you think we start turning dirt? Probably a month. Just got to fiber in. If you drive by my warehouse out there, you'll see nothing but beautiful big reels of fiber covering the whole thing. So we're getting close. Okay, Ethel, I'm sorry, my friend. I'm going to have to get you to read this to me. Do you want to say what I can't, I'm not sure. Thank you for having a... Oh, yeah, great. And thanks, Mary. That was great. Mary, by the way, is probably our biggest fan of Three Rivers in our southern district. She's been tremendous. If I could just get her son to stop buying that stuff from Cutthroat, then we'd be really cooking. When will the city of Shoto get fiber to the home? Okay, good news, bad news is we're going to do upgrades in the town, and we're going to tackle the rural areas first because they need it worse, and the people are far out there. So this is another question. I'm going to give, in fact, I'm going to give you this number. Ernie, I wrote it down here. All right, if you have a question on your residence or your business and when you're going to get fiber, okay, or what the plan is, we really have to get your address. We got to look at it, and I'm not obviously the guy that's going to be smart and get you the right answer. So you call Ernie Peterson, and I checked with Ernie. I did, so he knows it's coming at 467-4301. He would be happy to field your phone call, talk about your specific situation, and then what our plans are. A good percentage of people here are 65 years or older. Why is the audit report printed so small so we can't read it? And that is a damn good question, Rick.
I agree. I couldn't read it either.
Lisa's over there going, Dave, did you bring your reading glasses? Because I can't see any of this. We'll work on that. Fiber line lines are located on county road right of way. In several places, field approaches are often crossed. What depth are those fiber lines normally buried? 42 inches usually. You know, it's a little shallower when we're coming into your yard, but they're down there. They're down there that even a farmer with, you know, even McInerney over there with his big heavy equipment can't cut into it. Okay, what are the extravagant giveaways that have been referred? Now, I'm just going to take a shot here. Okay, you know, we used to have a Christmas party. It was pretty extravagant, so we bagged that. So instead, we just get some burgers and brats and a cooler full of Coke, and we have an employee picnic that we do every year, usually in July. And after that, once a quarter, we do a lunch for the employees. Well, first of all, as I've always said, if you didn't have a meal and you didn't have door prizes, probably nobody'd show up. So there's one good reason for it. Did you want to say something, Mary?
For one, I think you need to stay in place and not disrupt the meeting continually. If you want to continue to disrupt, we're going to have a vote of the members to see if they want you to keep interrupting the business meeting.
When am I allowed to ask questions?
New business.
I'm done. Okay, again, Ernie's number, if you're having problems, and some of these folks, I have your number, so we'll call you, but if you have a question about your specific circumstance, just call Ernie and we'll get you an answer. You might not always like the answer, but we'll do our best. And frankly, if we find areas where there's a concentration of folks that we're just not, that we need to do something, it doesn't all have to be fiber to the home, right? I mean, there are lots of things that we do every day to get higher and better broadband speeds without having to replace every, you know, inch of copper that's in the ground. So, those are the questions. Thank you very much.
Now I'd like to have John come up and we'll go over the new business portion of the meeting.
Actually, a couple points of clarity. First, the question session was just done. The next part of the member meeting is the results of the election. The results of the election are that Ty Cobb has been elected to fill a seat. Congratulations, Ty. Kurt Diggy has been elected to fill a seat. Congratulations, Kurt. Harry Barnes has been elected to fill a seat. Congratulations, Harry. And Kelly McInerney has been elected to fill a seat. Congratulations, Kelly. You have two pieces of business left of your member meeting. One is new business, one is adjournment. New business will be done by motion. If somebody has new business that they want to take up by motion, I'd like them to please stand, make the motion, and then we'll see if the members vote on that motion. Do we have any new business? What's your motion?
All right, we always have an employee, Jim DeWalden, as a private electrical contractor, does it sell electric? He's running it out of Three Rivers.
That's not a motion.
Make a motion that be stopped.
Okay, do we have a second? No, I'm going to interrupt you here. No, the motion isn't you just stating something you believe is fact. No, but you're stopping something that they don't know is fact or not fact. You can make a motion for the members to take up your allegations, and then we can open it up for discussion. But your motion would simply be, do you want to open the floor to the discussion about your issue? And your issue is, as you just stated. So, do you want to make a motion that the members discuss the issue you're raising?
Yes.
Okay, do we have a second to that motion? Okay, we have a second to the motion. Okay? So you members are now available to discuss his issue for as long as you'd like to sit here and discuss it. Come on up here. Yes, sir. I agree. I thought that people didn't know what the issue was that he wanted to discuss. If someone is unclear on that before they vote, I'll let him clarify it. But you are correct. That is the motion, and we will vote on that motion. So we'll start by a show of hands as to those people that affirmatively, yes, want to move into a discussion of the issue that he's talking about. Raise your hand if you are a yes that you would like to, as members, discuss that issue. So all in favor of that discussion, raise your hand. All opposed to his motion, please raise your hand. Overwhelmingly denied. Are there any other motions from members? You're moving that the ballots be destroyed? That's not a member decision, I'm sorry. Thank you, though. Yes. Yes, sir. All in favor, raise your hand. Let's move on out of the new business part of the meeting, also because there were no more motions, and we'll move on to the next part of the meeting. Thank you.
We'll have the door prizes now. If I could have the board members please come line up down here to help distribute the door prizes. Thank you.
Oh, that's right. Oh, sorry. All right, you gonna hand them up, Kelly? Oh, we got it. All right, so we tried this last 2 years, at least the last year. So you got this little slip of paper with a number on it, okay? So that I can actually read the numbers and not mispronounce your name. The first prize, door prize, is from Mary Hill out of Belt Geyser, Nyart, and Rainsford, and it is a kaleidoscope glass bowl. The winning number, Susan, these all should be the same first three numbers, right? Okay, so the last, what's up, Tim? Okay. Okay, the last four numbers are 6918. 6918. It's a nice glass bowl. Anybody? Okay, once, twice, here we go. New number. 7, last four, 7831. You don't need these back, do you? Okay. This is from Kyle Bergmeyer, East Connor, Connor Brady Power. Shelby is a wood drift. What is it? Woodruff Hill? It's from Woodruff Hill. It's a gift basket. And the winning number is 5488. 5488. Okay. Tee me up. All right. The new winning number is 8127. 8127. Oh, there we go. Oh, thank you, Mary. Double duty today. So this is from Logan Good. Mary Oliver will be doing the honors from the Carter, Great Falls, and Highwood area. It's a quilt from the Quilting Hand in Carter. Number is 9128. Nine one two eight. Hit me. 6840. 6840. Right, ma'am? Am I seeing you with your hand up? There we go. All right, this is from Kirk Diggy up in Big Sky. Ace Heart, what is it, Kirk? Baking dishes, gift basket. Oh, set of 4 petite round casserole crocks with a cookbook. There we go. 8089. 8089. All right. Now we're cooking. Diane Gallahan from Shoto. What do we got there? Another gift basket from the Country Hallmark store. Gift basket. 7009. Did we get somebody? Yep. Oh, good. Now, was that just one thing, or was there another? Hey, Diane, was that the red wagon as part of that basket? Yeah. Okay. Howard Goltz from Innis Harrison. Copper door from Julie Stonebreaker in Innis. Winning number 9120. There we go, all the way in the back. So was that just one thing too? Yep. The rhubarb ceramic bowl was part of that? Yeah. I can't. It must be. Okay, next from Callie McInerney from our fair town of Fairfield. Iron Horse Metal Art from Montana, Metal Montana Signs. And the winning number is 7079. 7079. There we go. Mr. Barnes from the Browning Lumber and Hardware store in Browning, Montana. Cast iron skillet and a Leatherman. Winning number. Yeah, just you be careful. Jana's going to smack you up with that thing. 4952. 4942. Oh, I'm sorry. 4952.
Oh, 4952.
My mistake. Sorry. Okay.
Oh, sorry. I was looking to see what it looked like.
From Ty Cobb, from Twin Bridges, Lima Melrose area, from Main Street, Maine, and Twin Bridges Wine and Chocolate Basket for 9124. 9124. And we have another winner. Okay. From Woodrift Hill in Conrad, Montana, a mated Montana basket from jam honey in a coffee cup. Winning number is 8130. 8130. Got it? Oh, Mr. Bergmeyer. Did you actually get that at Ace Hardware in Big Sky? Okay, wherever it comes from, I'm sure it'll work. Number is 5610. You realize that every time you win a yard tool, you have to actually go out and like do yard work, right? Okay, just saying, you might want to have buried that number this one time. All right, Kirk, now I'm a little, I think I got it. So what is that? A gift basket from Copper Door. Yeah, 6853. Right there we go. What is that? Piggy bank. That is a piggy bank. Yep, I see from O'Neill Metal and Forge. Number is 8035. Oh, that's going to look good on your mantle right there. Okay, what do we have there, Howard? Oh, a blanket from NISC, which is our provider of all our back office software. And the winning number is 7011. 7011. There we go. And same thing, times 2 here, 7871. 7871. I think you people in the back corner are cheating. Yeah, it's like, yeah, so what's your point, Gibson? All right, that's it with the door prize. Turn it right back over to Mary here.
With no other business coming before this meeting, I look for a motion to adjourn. Moved and seconded to adjourn the meeting. All in favor say yes. Opposed? Please drive safely on your way home, and I encourage you to visit with us about where you want Three Rivers to be in 5-10 years. Thank you. Thank you very much for coming.